Hey y'all, how's it going? I'm trading the ES futures on a 2000 tick chart with a 21 EMA. So I've got the overnight high up here, the overnight low down here. These are our key levels for the day. And starting off, I started trading at 8 Central Time, which is this area right here. So we have this clear spike up right here. We have a break, and then we have a second measured leg. Notice how as soon as it reached that to the tick, it started pushing back down here. And so we formed the overnight here. It was just clearly finding resistance. This is around 7:30ish, 7:40ish, and so this is before the market opened. Then we push out here. This is around 8:30 when the market opened. And now, when you break out of the overnight high, this will act as a range. And so, before you want to buy with the breakout, you want to see two clear attempts to fade. And some may say, first attempt down, second attempt down, and maybe there's a scalp there, like a small scalp, but to me, I just view this as we break out, we went sideways, and we push down. And I do know that those are technically connected, I'm sure, but it's just too small picture, especially on that first leg. I would want to see two legs down like this leg right there. So I really just see that as a congestion and then a push down. So unfortunately, no reason to go long there. But anyway, so then here we push up to a new high. I was hoping we would get that two-legged retest there, but instead we just kind of go sideways. You get this first entry long, second entry long off the EMA. That's basically just way too sideways. And, it's like forming, these highs right here. It's not significant highs, but it's mainly just the fact that it's completely sideways right at that measured move level. So no reason to go long into that. We push up here. Then we have this first entry long here, and then we start to get this larger uptrend. I drew it from there, which let me adjust it. It kind of got off a little bit. There we go. So, and also here, what I was hoping was we push up higher and then get two clear attempts down, holding off that trend line there, because then we could just continue with the trend, but, two sideways, it didn't reach the key entry point. But anyway, we continue up, we get a first entry long off the EMA. Now, we have this trend forming here. We have these highs, put it there, it just bounced off it for that second time there. Now, when you come off one side of a channel, or I think I just called this a range a second ago. We have this channel going up. When we push off one side of a channel, you want to see two attempts to reach the other side before you continue along with it. Because just like in a range, when you're in a range, when price is on one side, you can expect it to reach the other side and then go back and forth. You can expect two attempts to reach the other side before you can expect it to fail. Same thing with a channel here. You don't want to go long after a first entry off one side, because price is likely to make two attempts to reach the other side of the channel, because these act as magnets. When you're in an in-play channel coming off one side, price it's literally attracted to the other side like a magnet. So it's too risky to enter on a first entry, especially when you're coming off one side. Anyway, we push on up here, we start going sideways, and this right here, it's a small picture trade and it's a very small bar, so I think you could have looked for something there, absolutely. But I didn't like how it had STT going through it. STT means short-term trend line. Notice there's a short-term trend line blocking. If we could have gotten something closing out, then I would have been more into it. But it's just you're buying so high at these channel highs right here, so that's always more risky. But if you can get something that's really, really small picture but still keeping it 1-to-1, then you can look for stuff in here. But I didn't like that it's closing up there mixed with the STT blocking. So if it closed out of STT, then I would have been fine riding it to the other side, but not past, because once again, this is a small picture trade right here. It could easily tick higher and then make a bigger picture attempt to the other side of the channel. So that's why I don't like that one. But anyway, we push on up here. We get this first entry long, second entry long. It's right into these highs. No way you're going to be able to safely take that. We just continue on higher up. We get these corrections. They're not quite reaching the EMA. And finally here we get this big push down, and we barely don't reach the trend line there. But what I was hoping for was we push up and get a second leg, like a higher low, but big enough to where it's clearly connected leg right there. So like a second entry off this key entry point. But instead we just go up, we make a double top, we start pushing lower again, and then we get this two-legged move right here. So that counted as a count reset right there when it did that double top, because now we have this new two-legged move down. And so when we broke out here, I don't like this short. I was wanting to get two attempts higher there in order to get a short, because when an uptrend gets a break, you can expect prices to attempt a new high, and you can expect 2 attempts. So if we could have gotten first attempt, break, second attempt, we could have gotten a good setup. But instead, we just get 1 attempt at a new high, and so that's not enough to enter short, because you're expecting this. It's a failure trade. You're expecting it to fail at making a new high, and you don't want to enter on failures unless it's the second attempt, because the second attempt is where the real failures happen, because price attempts to do things twice. It attempts to reach magnets twice. It attempts to make new highs twice, and that's how second entries are formed. That's why the market rule of 2 exists. So, the market rule of 2, it's not like it's just all about 2-legged moves. It's about 2-legged retests and reaching magnets. So I hope that's clear. So anyway, we get the second push down right here. So now we have these couple legs down here. Then it was clear that we were kind of going sideways with that double top, the EMA up and then down, and it's kind of staying around the middle. And then I had that resistance there. And so it didn't hold, so I wasn't too confident on this resistance right here. I was thinking it could be a bit lower, but I left it there for now. So we pushed on up. And then here I was wanting a clear failed second entry, which we do actually get, but I was out of the room at the time, unfortunately. You can see right here we have first entry short, second entry short, failure. It's pretty clear, failed second entry. You just had 2 attempts down, you rush above. Now you can still expect a new high for this uptrend. It's like uptrend, then you get a 2-legged break, and then a rush above the EMA. So you can look to go long, of course, especially with that huge spike higher. That's just giving you further confirmation that price is trying to make a new high for this on a bigger picture. And so you get that first entry short, second entry short, failure. And notice how it just ticked lower, just shot way above. Very good signal bar for this entry. I do like this trade right here. Now, if you had entered it, you'll notice it is getting a bit sideways here. And then when you enter this and it's sideways, I still think it looks fine. But when you start to see it get even more sideways after you enter, that's a sign that you want to limit in your target, and you should just do 1-to-1. But I did unfortunately miss out on this trade, which I was away from the computer. I actually didn't even look back at the price action too much. I didn't even pay much attention to it. But at first I would have my target something like this, just to go along with that measured move. You're expecting a new high, but we have to remember it was already choppy. That doesn't mean you can't push it to that target up there. But when you start going sideways like that inside of it, right after already being choppy, then I would just do 1-to-1. I mean, 1-to-1 is standard anyway. 1-to-1 is perfectly fine. So, but anyway, I did miss out on that completely. And I can't say for sure if I would have lowered it. Every now and then I find myself unable to lower my target. So if I entered this, there's a chance I would have been stopped out on that. But anyway, so I'll put that there. So anyway, we have 2 legs back up, and then this is where I got in right here. So after we had these 2 legs up, notice how you can actually view it on a smaller picture as push up, break, first attempt higher, and then right here, second attempt higher to reach that measured move. So it's the second attempt to reach that measured move before rushing below the EMA. And at first, I was tempted to enter on this bar right here. I decided I would stay out of it. Even if it triggered, I didn't put an order below it because it just rejected it. It looked like it was trying to reject the EMA, and it was kind of along with this sideways action. And then when we got this bar closing back above, I decided I would need to wait on a new bar. So then we got this right here. And so let me go over the context once again. So the uptrend has a break, 2 attempts to make a new high, and it's rushing below the EMA. So that's telling you it's failing to make a new high. So this is a big picture failure. And then I'll go over the smaller picture stuff again. Uptrend, break, first attempt higher, and then second attempt higher, failure. And we get this rush below the EMA. It ended up forming another bar next to it. That didn't bother me because it's still a bearish bar. It has really good context. I ended up needing a limit order though because I didn't want to push it out of the resistance just in case. And so I went out with a limit order, which I got filled on it really fast. And then it wouldn't have mattered if I got in with a limit order anyway. It eventually pushed through that area, and then we reached this right here, making this double bottom right there. And so, okay, I got scared I looked over at the OBS. I thought it wasn't recording, so I would have been 10 minutes of no recording. Anyway, sorry about that. I thought I wasn't recording for a second there. So we break out, we make that double bottom, and now this entry right here, this is a really nice entry right here. So let me explain it. We had this overnight high, overnight low level. Now, even though it kind of just went straight out of it, this will act as a range. Now, the less that it forms into a full-on range, the less effective it will, the less likely it'll attract prices back to it. But the overnight highs and overnight lows, whether they look completely like a range or not, they will still act like a range to a significant degree. So here, after you break out, kind of like how price was attracted back to it to retest it right at the beginning, now you're getting that on a bigger picture. So you have this first attempt to fade, second attempt to fade, two nearly perfect measured legs down right there. And so it was after that breakout, and you can actually see how you have that leg up right there, and then you have a break and a second leg up. You can kind of see that as two legs up right there because of their separation and direction. So after you get those two legs up, you immediately get two attempts to fade the overnight level. And so after you get that, it rushes above the EMA. That's a failure. And like I was saying, you want to enter on the second attempt failure. And so after we have that first attempt, second attempt failure, we get this higher low to continue with that failure because we only have one leg. And once again, price action moves in pairs of twos. And the perfect place to expect a second leg is after a huge spike up after a previous two-legged move already played out, because now you can expect two legs in the other direction if you get a good setup, of course. And the context is great because, like I was saying, right after two attempts to fade, rush above, that's very clear right there. Clearly there was some resistance on this level right here, which I was looking to lower it at that point. Actually, I started lowering it to here, but I did notice how it was fitting off of that original level there. But ultimately, I do think that it should be more down here right now. So that's why I like that right there. Very, very nice looking big picture trade. Clearly, prices wanted to be bullish, unable to reverse back down. So I like that there. Target was right before that measured move target, and then we push on higher here. We don't get any corrections. We get this correction here. It doesn't reach the EMA, and now we're starting to kind of go into this range here. So as we can see. So that's it for the day. Maybe we'll get some kind of fade. Notice we're overshooting this trend right here, which, overshoots lead to breaks. So I wouldn't be surprised if we can get like a failed second entry back down. It's due to how bullish it's been all day, and it keeps going higher. Even though it's been ranging for a while, it's clearly has a bullish bias. I would wait on a failed second entry. I would avoid just a lower high. I would want to do a failed second entry just to be safe. And I would also probably limit in my target to 1-to-1, even if you have, say, extra room to a measured move or something. But anyway, I appreciate you watching. I hope this helped out in some way. And yeah, thanks. I'll see y'all next time.